Most people think discipline is a personality trait. That's already the first mistake. Some believe you're either born disciplined or you're not. That if you procrastinate, fail to follow routines, or quit halfway through, it must mean something is wrong with you. That you're weak, undisciplined, broken. But what if I told you that discipline, as most people understand it, violates how the human brain actually works? And not metaphorically, not motivationally, biologically. Here's the pattern interrupt most people never hear. If discipline feels hard, it's not because you lack willpower. It's because your brain is working exactly as designed. And once you understand that design, everything changes. In the next few minutes, you'll see why forcing discipline almost always fails, why motivation collapses under pressure, and why the people who seem effortlessly consistent are not stronger than you. They're playing a completely different game. And once you see that game, you can't unsee it. The proof: your brain was never built for discipline. The human brain did not evolve to chase long-term goals. It did not evolve to care about abstract futures, 6-month plans, or delayed gratification. It evolved for one purpose: immediate survival. For hundreds of thousands of years, survival meant conserving energy, avoiding unnecessary effort, and seeking fast, reliable rewards. In that environment, discipline would have been a liability. Wasting energy today for a reward months later made no sense when tomorrow wasn't guaranteed. And that ancient software still runs inside you. That's why your brain prefers the couch over the gym, scrolling over studying, comfort over effort. Not because you're flawed, but because your nervous system is efficient. Your brain doesn't ask, what's best long term? It asks, what costs the least energy right now? Neuroscience calls this cognitive ease, the tendency to automatically choose the path of least resistance before conscious thought even enters the picture. This is why willpower fails, because willpower is trying to overpower millions of years of evolutionary programming with motivational quotes and sheer force. It might work briefly, but fatigue always wins. And when fatigue hits, the brain returns to autopilot, and autopilot always chooses the easiest option. The value: why discipline is not a moral issue. Here's the most liberating realization most people never reach. Struggling with discipline is not a moral failure. It's a design conflict. On one side, you have a brain optimized for efficiency, comfort, and survival. On the other, a modern world that demands constant focus, productivity, and long-term planning. When these two forces collide, frustration is inevitable. This is why James Clear's insight changed everything. Motivation is overrated. Environment is more important. Highly consistent people are not more driven. They're not constantly inspired. They simply removed the need to fight their own brain. They stopped relying on force and started relying on design. They didn't become disciplined. They made discipline unnecessary. The structure. Environment is the real decision maker. Most people think self-control lives inside them. In reality, it lives around them. Every decision you make is shaped by what is visible, accessible, and easy. This is called choice architecture. When healthy options are easier to access, behavior changes automatically, not through effort, through structure. In one study James Clear references, simply moving water bottles to the front of a cafeteria increased water consumption and reduced soda intake. No lectures, no motivation, no discipline, just environment. Now apply this to your life. If your phone is always within reach, distraction is inevitable. If your workout clothes are hidden, exercise becomes unlikely. If your workspace is cluttered, focus collapses. You are not choosing between good and bad habits. You are choosing between easy and hard. And the brain always chooses easy. This is why disciplined people don't rely on self-control. They engineer surroundings where the right action requires less effort than the wrong one. Habit stacking, hijacking autopilot. Here's where things get powerful. Your brain already runs on habits, automatic loops that require zero motivation. Brush teeth, check phone, make coffee. Habit stacking exploits this. Instead of creating new habits from scratch, you attach them to existing ones. After brushing your teeth, you meditate for 2 minutes. After making coffee, you write 1 sentence. After locking the door, you repeat a focus cue. Why does this work? Because starting is the hardest part. Once motion begins, inertia takes over. Habit stacking removes initiation friction, the true enemy of discipline. And when actions happen before doubt arises, consistency becomes automatic. Small behaviors compound, not linearly, exponentially. Procrastination is not laziness. This is the belief that destroys people. I'm lazy. I lack discipline. I can't stick to anything. All false. Procrastination is not a personality trait. It's a system failure. The brain avoids tasks that feel unclear, unrewarding, difficult, emotionally uncomfortable, and gravitates toward instant gratification. Not because it's bad, because it's efficient. James Clear defines 4 laws that determine whether habits succeed or fail. Make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, make it satisfying. When habits violate these laws, procrastination appears, not as weakness, but as feedback. Every time you avoid a task, the system is telling you something is poorly designed. Fix the design, and the behavior fixes itself. You don't need to love discipline. This is one of the most damaging myths in productivity culture, that you must enjoy the process, love the grind, feel passionate every day. You don't. Consistent people don't love routine. They removed choice. They made important behaviors inevitable. Shoes by the bed, alarm across the room, prepared environment, external commitments. The decision was made yesterday, not this morning. That's the difference. They don't wait to feel like acting. They act because the system leaves no alternative. These stakes. Identity is the final layer. Here's the deepest truth. Discipline is not the goal. Identity is. Habits are votes for who you believe you are. Every small action reinforces a self-image. When you act consistently, even briefly, you're telling yourself, I am the kind of person who shows up. And identity drives behavior far more powerfully than motivation ever could. James Clear puts it simply, you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And systems are built around identity.
So now you have a choice. You can keep blaming yourself, or you can redesign the game. Stop fighting your brain. Stop demanding infinite willpower. Start building structures that make the right behavior inevitable. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be motivated. You just need systems that work even on bad days. So here's the real question. What is the first habit you'll redesign today? Comment it below, because writing it down is already a vote for the person you're becoming. And if this video shifted how you see discipline, subscribe, because here we don't repeat slogans, we redesign reality.